Yeah, welcome back. Participants, please note that attendance and feedback links both are same. The next session begins. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our esteemed speaker for this session, Ms.Mounika. Monica is currently working as an IT analyst at TCS and with 10 years of experience. She is a Python code developer and also worked as international research assistant at Nanyang Technological University, Singapore. She worked on a recruitment neural networks, machine learning, deep learning, and natural language processing. Ms. Monica is a member of Board of Studies at Jawaharlal Nehru Technological University, Kakinada. She is a skilled IT professional and worked with various technologies with Python, PostgreSQL, AWS, Docker, and Azure. She actively contributes to the tech community. She was an organizer for Google Developer Cloud Group and also ambassador for Women Tech Makers. So, dear participants, please join me in welcoming Ms. Monica. Welcome, ma'am.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Now, I would
Yeah,
like to hand
thank you.
over the session to Ms. Monica. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sai Krishna. Hi all, this is Monica Narkedamilli. Um, so first of all, thank you so much for the organizers, program coordinators, Dr. K. Suresh, and then co-coordinator PV Naresh. Both of them, thank you so much for having me. Um, Today, are you able to see my screen, everybody? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, yeah. Huh. So today I'm going to talk on how we can do a practical session in developing a machine learning model to detect a disease. And I came to know from the previous sessions, like everybody covered like all the algorithms and good machine learning models, activation functions, and all the ones. So I'll quickly just go through these all things, and I'll try to introduce some new topics for you in the healthcare industry. So let me go to the next slides and all. So machine learning, like you all knows, like machine only understands zeros and ones, and then whatever you want to do, any classification or anything, you have to give the data to the machine, and then you have to run some models and all, and then you will get the output. Whatever you give the input, whether it will say that the classification, for example, breast cancer detection, right? If the breast cancer is benign or malignant, you will be able to find it based on the previous data, whether when some of the data which is classified as like benign or malignant, based on that it will tell us the new data if we give whether what is the classification and all, right? So something similar like that. So all these things already covered in the previous sessions. There are like a lot of machine learning algorithms like linear regression, logistic regression, decision trees, and all. So I don't want to take much of your time in explaining all these stuffs. So the main basic things are like collecting data in these machine learning models. If you collect the data based on only for example, if you're taking classification, if you have the data more for one of the class, and then if you have the data for less for the other class, then again you won't be able to predict it correctly, whatever the classification. So collecting data is also a very important, and then we have to clean the data, otherwise it might lead to anomalies also will be considered, and then you won't be able to predict it. And then the model building, some hyperparameters uh, and all will be there, and then evaluating model and all. So after that, maybe I'll quickly show you the code than this one. So this is my notebook. Is the notebook visible?
Yes,
Hope
ma'am.
it's visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Here only three libraries we are importing: pandas, numpy, and matplotlib. As everybody knows, the pandas is for the data, bringing data into a data frame and doing manipulations on top of it, and numpy is for doing some mathematical operations, and matplotlib is beautifying the output in a nicer manner where everybody understands. And after loading the data sets and all, just to show you the data set. And okay, I forgot to tell you that this data set is for the breast cancer detection, whether the it's a benign or malignant. Here in the diagnosis we have mentioned it as M and then B. So we are mapping those M and B as zeros and ones, so that the algorithm knows, because algorithm can only work on numbers and it can't work on any other data types. And coming to these ones, like I just plotted something like, where you can see the values and all, what is the data set all about. And then here, for the as the previous speaker already told about the training and testing data set, how if you take like how the model will behave, whether how the way it will predict at the end of the day, right? So that's how these things and all works. And then the feature scaling and as well, both. And here for the comparison of different models, how they are predicting. For this classification we are taking linear regression, logistic regression, decision tree, and knn, and navy bayes, and support vector machines and all these classification algorithms we are taking. And then we are just trying to run them and then see how they are performing. And here we can see that linear regression and then logistic regression and then SVM are performing very nicely. And if we see also, if we just particularly see how the SVC is working, by giving the x dot text and y prediction, it is giving almost everything correctly. So this is how machine learning works. And I want to I am not, I'm not covering like much of the machine learning concept, as earlier speakers already covered most of the stuff. So I want to introduce a new concept, generative AI. So how many of you are aware of the generative AI? May I know? I just want to see the chat session is available, right?
Yes, ma'am, it's available.
Yeah. How many of you are aware of generative AI? Um, do we have any comments? I'm not able to read any comments. Like, do we have any comments? Can somebody say? Okay.
No comments
Okay,
yet.
I'll continue. Okay, got it. My screen is not. My screen is sharing, right? You are able to see my screen.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Today we are gonna do generative AI. Generative, now the industry is buzzing entirely with generative AI. Even banking industries, healthcare industry, all industries are incorporating generative AI. And you would have already heard that Gen AI is going to take away everybody's job. This is not gonna happen. It only helps us, aid us to work efficiently. So that's what Gen AI will do. And coming to the generative AI in healthcare industry, I just built a application where it will take a image of the injury or whatever happens to us, and then it will tell us the what is the best first aid. Okay, so it's just a small POC kind of stuff. It's not a it's not an industry scale stuff or anything, because at the end of the day, for healthcare we have to do a lot of testings only, and then only we can release it to the people, because health is very important, right? So here what I'm going to do is, here if you can see that, just please let us know about your injury, and Jenny will try to help you find the best first aid. So let me go and upload a image of honeybee sting, and let's see if it's able to suggest us the first aid. See, as soon as we upload the honeybee sting, it is able to say that it's a bee sting, possible injury, you can say it, right? Possible injury is bee sting. And what is the first aid method measures? So for the first aid measures are like, remove the stinger, and we can't just plug the stinger like just like that, we have to scrape it off. That's the correct way of removing the bee sting. Everybody might not be aware of it, right? So this is a smaller contribution to the healthcare industry. And what are the other first aid measures? Like, we have to clean the area, we have to do some to reduce pain and swelling, we have to do some cold compress, and all this stuff it will you know it will tell us. And then it will also recommend, like, what number we have to dial, and then what are the nearest hospitals and all that stuff. Also we can do it, like, we can create a small applications like this using Gen AI, so that we can learn new stuff. And for this Gen AI, building this Gen AI will just take, like, 10 minutes of your time. That's it, not more than that. It's a beginner level of Gen AI application. So for the application, mostly what all we require is API key. So if you need to build a Gen AI application, we have to consider one of the existing models, like Microsoft also having a lot of models, like OpenAI is having a lot of models, Google, Gemini, and all other, like, Google company is also having a lot of models, Gemini and all. So we can take one of the model which based on our use case, and then we can use them. So when we are using the model, we have to get the API key. Using that API key, we can do the rest of the stuff. And then request.txt, like, what all other packages, Python packages which we are using to run our application. And then app.py, where we will, where we write all the functions which are required. And a hugging face is a space where we can host our applications, and you can use it online anywhere, from anywhere actually. So to get the API, let me show you. So this is Google AI Studio. I'm just giving you from the Google perspective, because I'm more aware of the Google stuff. So if you see, there are like a lot of models. If you see here, Gemini 1.5 Pro. Here, if you can see, there are like tokens and all. But tokens is nothing but, if you give a something like, if you want to ask something to your model, you will write a sentence in English, right? So in English, the words which are there, it will consider them as tokens, not exactly one word as one token. It is having its science behind it. So the tokens, the sentence which you have given will be divided as tokens, and then the tokens will be taken into the model, and then it will compute it, and it will give you the answer. Again, the answer is also in the form of tokens. That tokens will convert into a entire English sentence. So these all models are based on tokens only. And if you can see this Google AI Pro, Google AI Pro is best for the long context, complex reasoning, math reasoning, and all. So it means that 1.5 Pro, we can't use it for the images. We can only use it for the text based queries. And if you can see, the use cases also: reason over 100k lines of code, synthesize 400 podcast transcripts. So if you if you give any podcast transcript, it will summarize you and it will give you as well. So coming to the Gemini 1.5 Flash, it is best for image understanding, video understanding, and audio understanding. In the sense, the one which I showed, the first aid image, here we are using 1.5 Flash, because it needs to take an image, and here there is a text box also where you can write explicitly whatever it is. Like in image you might not be able to capture each and everything, and you want to add a text to it, you can even do it over here. So what it is doing, this model will take a text format of input and image format of input, and then it will give a text format of output. So that is what here it is written. So 1.5 flash is for image understanding, video understanding, and audio understanding. Means these all three types of multimedia you can give it as input, and it will be able to process and it will give us an output. And here you can see Gemini 1.5 Flash 8B. 8B is like low latency. It means that it will give a delayed output, but it is multilingual. It means that you can write your you can write your query in English, Hindi, or whatever it be, and it is very good for the summarization. So that's what here it was written. So based on your use case, you have to select one of your model which is good for you. uh, and the same goes here. Some of the models are in the previews. You can go through all these things. And Gemma is for the text, completely is based on text. It is very good for summarization and all. And you can see here 2b 9b, and also it got trained on 2 billion parameters, 9 billion parameters and all. So once, like, if it trained on a lot of billion of parameters, the accuracy will be good in the prediction or whatever it be. So that's the basic of the models and all. And to use any of the model, you have to get an API key. So to get an API key, you just need to click get API key, and after this you can click on create API key. And if you don't have any current Google Cloud projects, it will create a Google Cloud project and it will give you an API key. As I'm already having a lot of Google Cloud projects, I can just select one of the Google Cloud project, and I can click on generate API key, and API key will be generated over here for me. So this is how we will get API keys. And coming to the next one is requirement.txt. So for the requirement.txt, we are using simple two packages. One is like Google Generative AI, as we are using Google Generative AI models, as I showed you, Gemini 1.5 Pro Flash, and Gradio. Gradio is one other beautiful package where we can, you know, where we can write the code to have a beautiful representation of the this one, like application, whatever it be. So if you're not a front end developer, if you're only interested in back end, you can bring out the code stuff here, like this label, this text field, this image, and this button, each and everything was coded in Gradio. So that's the best of the Gradio. And coming to the main application, so main application, the app.py, consists of these all parts. One is imports, the another is Gen AI config. Imports, as everybody knows, the import statements which we will write from the packages, those. And Gen AI config is something that everybody would have heard, that Gen AI will hallucinate a lot, right? And sometimes it might give some harsh what do you say, harsh comments as well. So those all things we have to we have to consider. That is where the responsible AI comes into the picture. So for all those controls and all, we have to give it Gen AI config, and then the API key which we have just taken it, we have to give pass that API key as well, and then the API call. In the API call, we will mention what model we are using and where is the API key and all the stuff. And another core part of this application is prompt. So based on the prompt only, you will be getting the results. How fine tuned your prompt is, that much clarity of your result we will have. We will talk it once it comes. And the Gradio code is for the UI. So these are the import statements. Maybe I'll show it in the code only. Before that, as I mentioned earlier, Hugging Face, where we can, host our applications. So Hugging Face is a platform where we can host our applications. And Hugging Face, you can just normally sign in with your Google account, and you can create a new space, and you can start doing it. And if you want to refer any of the existing applications, you can just click on Spaces over here, and then in the Spaces, you can just go over and see their codes and all as well, how their codes are there and how many are watching. And this particular project was liked by around 1074 people. So so you can just test a few of the spaces, and you can learn as well how the code and all. You can just code, and you can take their code and take it as well. So that's how this Hugging Face spaces works. So I'll show you the my code base which is there here. Here now the code base is running, and then if you click on this particular one, you can see the logs. What is the status of the logs and all? What is the status of the application basically? And then if you click on these three dots, you'll be able to select multiple options, like restarting the space and cloning the repositories and all this stuff. If you want to try out this thing, you can clone the repository, and you can have your own API key, and you can have your own prompt, and then you can play with it. So this is my space, and here I have a couple of files, requirements.txt, app.py, and all. I'll just quickly show you requirements.txt. As I shown in the PPT, I have only two packages over here, Gradio and Google Generative AI. And then coming to the app.py, so in app.py, if you see over here, we have like three import statements. One is Google Generative AI, which we needed for the Gemini models, to use Gemini models. And then pathlib is something we are using it for uploading an image, and Gradio we are using it for the UI code. So that is the stuff. And then I have mentioned that Gen AI configuration, right? So this is one of the Gen AI configuration where we are mentioning temperature. So temperature, ideally it will be like temperature is 0 to 1. So 0 in the sense it will give you the result based on facts. And if your temperature is around 1, it will hallucinate some of the stuff, and then it will give you in the results. So what is your use case, how much hallucination is desired? Based on that, you can give the temperature, and all other top p top k and all are the supporting parameters over there. And max output tokens are for like you can give, because actually, for until some of the request, this Gen AI API keys are free, and if you're going to enterprise level, it will cost. So that's the reason we will have a control on the output tokens and then input tokens as well. So to have a control on the input tokens, the one of the best thing is that write the prompt in a plain text, and then do summarization on top of it, and then you inject to the model. So So in that manner you will be able to get only less input tokens, and here max output tokens you can always configure in the configuration itself. So here I configured as 4096. And then coming to the safety settings, in the results it will block any harm content, or whatever it be, harassment kind of stuff, or hate speech, or any sexually explicit content, or any dangerous content. Everything will be blocked over here. That is what we have written, the safety settings. Safety settings comes under responsible AI. That is entirely a different topic that everybody should learn. And then whatever the API key which we have generated, right? So that API key we are passing over here. uh, there is something called secrets also. You can keep the API key in secrets. Just for the demo purpose, I have just written API key over here. And the next one is model, where we are using the Gen AI which we imported over here, right? Generative AI as Gen AI. So here we are using the Gen AI and calling the generative model function, and then we are passing the model name as Gemini 1.5 Flash, because we are using a image and text based both for our application. And then the generation configuration which we have already given over here, where we have mentioned temperature, top P, top K, and max output tokens. And then we have to pass safety settings as well. So these are the three inputs which goes into generative model function. And the coming to the next piece of code, here we are just this is input image setup. We are just written some path path files and all, where we can just upload our image and all. So that is this code. And coming to the generative Gemini response, so as I mentioned earlier, that our application will take an image and a text based input, and then it will give the response. So what we are doing is we are clubbing all the inputs, text based input and image based input, and then we are passing it to the model to generate the content. So that's what this code is doing. And then in return we will be getting response.txt text. And then this is the input prompt. This is one of the very important part of the generative AI. How efficiently you are writing the prompt, that's how the result you will get it. So to fine tune the prompt, you can even use the again uh, a Google Studio, uh, Google AI Studio, where you can just write something like, and this is what I want, and refine this prompt over here. If you type here, and it will refine the prompt for you, and then so you can go back and paste it again. So here's something what I have written is, this image shows a person with an injury or visible symptoms of the body, and just analyze the image and add the prompted message as well, including both you suggest me appropriate first aid measures and any other useful website links and all. So this is how I have written the prompt. So the prompt also goes in, and then only we will be able to get the response. And here's some function for the uploading files. And then here the Gradio code comes, where we will be writing the mm, where we have written that we need a label like this, we need a text box like this, we need an image like this, and we need a upload button like this. So this is the smaller part of the code. And if you want to edit anything also, you can just go and click on this edit, and then uh, you will get the code. And Hello, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. I came to know that my network got disconnected. May I know what is the last one which you have heard? I'll start from there. What screen I'm showing? Hello? Hello?
Ma'am, you can continue.
Okay. Okay. Right. Um, okay. My screen is visible, right? Can somebody respond? My screen is visible?
No, ma'am, no, ma'am.
Okay, my screen is not visible. Let me come back. Now am I sharing?
Yes, ma'am. It's
Okay. Uh, okay, so what I was trying to say, I'll just try to recap. Hope I am audible.
yes.
Okay. Yeah. So what I was trying to show is the import commands and then the GenAI config, API key, API call, prompt, and grade your code. Again, I'll just quickly go through all these things because I'm not sure whether you are able to hear me or not. So here in imports, we are using the generative AI package and then the pathlib package and the gradio package. Generative AI package is used for getting our Gemini models, and then the pathlib is for the uh, uploading images and all, and then the gradio code is for the uh, beautiful representation of our output results. And the Gen AI config is one of the other important stuff we have to mention over here. And the generation configuration is the temperature 0 and 1 means temperature 0 means it will give the result based on the facts, and if the temperature 1 means it can hallucinate as well. And top p and top k also helps for the hallucination purposes to reduce the hallucination. And max output tokens is because to reduce the billing basically, and to give the summarized output. And coming to the safety settings, as our application should not speak harshly, and hate speech should not be there, and sexual explicit information should not come, and then there should not be any dangerous content. So that's the reason we have to give safety settings. So this comes under completely responsible AI. So responsible AI is one other field where it's worth exploring. And coming to the API key, we can get the API key for any model from the Google AI Studio, which I have already showed you. We have lots of models available, and you can generate API keys for free of cost, and there won't be any billing for that. If you are using the API key for the enterprise version, then only you will be billed as per the use. For your any hobby projects or whatever the other small scale projects, the API key is free. Some rate limits are there, you can just explore in that aspect. And for the API call, we have declared the Gen AI package, right, when we are importing. So in that generative model function we will be using, and we have to pass what are the model name we are using, and what is the generation configuration, and what are the safety settings. So all this information we have to pass in the generative model. And this is the input prompt, which is very important. This is, you can say it as prompt is an heart of the generative AI application. How beautifully or how summarizably you write the prompt, that's how you will be able to get the results. So in this particular application, I have written that take the image which user uploads, and then take the content which user writes for that image, and club the both of them, and then get the what the injury happened to that person, and then retrieve the first aid information. And if there are any speed dials for in that particular place, provide that information as well. So such type of some important informations I have given in the prompt. So if you're not able to write a very good prompt, just write whatever the prompt you are able to write it, and then you can ask the generative AI to fine tune it as well, so that it will be able to fine tune and you will be able to write an efficient prompt as well. And coming to the and this is the beautiful screen where we achieved using the Gradio code. This all the labels, text fields, and then the image buttons and all, that all are possible using Gradio code. And this is the Gradio code which is responsible for that outline. And I have mentioned Hugging Face spaces as well. Am I still connected? Okay. Yeah, Hugging Face spaces also I have mentioned. You can explore like different spaces of some others, and then you can play with their application, and you can get their code, and you can learn from them. You can take inspiration, and you can write your own coding stuff. It's something like Kaggle, you can say. In Kaggle, how you see the problem, and then the solution from the different people and the piece of code which they have written. And also, Hugging Face Spaces is also something like that. In Hugging Face, also you will be having like lots of models as well here. You can use those models free of cost, and you can host them with free of cost, and you can explore all these beautiful features. You can have the data sets and all. So it's one of the other such an amazing website where you have to explore for the generative AI content specifically. And coming to the demo, I have already showed. So this is the demo. If anyone, I'll quickly show something else, something like hand burn kind of stuff, and we will see whether it's able to, predict it or not. Okay, this is a basting. Something happened. So we have seen a bee sting, right? This is something hand burn. I have uploaded a hand burn image, and then here it is showing that it's a hand burn, and then these are the first steps, first aid steps, and you have to, do all these things. The image shows a person's backhand, and then the partial thickness of the burn, second degree burn, and all the stuff. I'll try to give the link on the chat if anybody wants to try this application. Feel free to do it. Yes, so I have shared the application link, and what else is there to go for me? Um, Most probably I have covered everything. Yeah, I have covered everything. So if anybody are having any doubts on Gen AI part, you know, I'll try to tell. Hello? Hello? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Participants, any
Yeah.
questions, please post in the chat box.
Someone commented image generation any use case for disease detection. You're mentioning disease detection and you're talking about image generation. I'm not getting it. As we just saw the one, application just now, we uploaded an image, and then it understood what happened to the particular place of any person, and then it told what is the first aid. So disease detection, I'm not completely sure how things will go with Gen AI. For that type of problems, we have to use machine learning only, as far as I know. Mm, what else I can cover? So hugging face spaces, I have told how we can you know go to the spaces and get the information. And yeah, one more beautiful concept was there in the Gen AI, where everybody I'm not on mute, right? Yeah. uh, how to use Gen for creating multiple images. Okay, actually, Gen AI is only some of the Gen AI stuff is for free of cost. Other stuffs like we have to pay for it. So for creating images and all other stuff, it's not in any free version which you can't use. For all those stuff, there is something called model garden in Google Cloud. So like you have to have the Google Cloud subscription, and then in the Google Cloud subscription you will be able to access all the models which are available in the model garden. In that model garden, you will be having few of the models where based on the prompts or something like that, it will be able to generate an image. So but just for the you know ha- uh, like just for the trial basis, what you can do is like, it's not an application which you can build, but you can try it on Copilot, Microsoft OpenAI Copilot. There you can just give a prompt saying that generate an image of like so and so, then it will be able to generate. I mean, it will able to create. But to do it in some enterprise level or something, you need to have some subscriptions, and there are some particular models for it. They are not for the free of cost. More application areas. Any Python code can you write? Uh, yes. To write those Python codes, also there are other models. So that's how only the models they used. Like if you see VS Code, Visual Studio Code, there in that GitHub Copilot is there. So you just have to write saying that I need a Python program to reverse a string. It will give you the Python code. That's now in industry, a lot of companies are using, even banking industry is also using that. They're integrating the IDEs with the co-pilots, where people can just ask or comment saying that write this piece of code for me, and Gen AI will write the code, and then you copy paste, or you just review the code whether it generated it correctly or not, because at the end of the day we have to validate whether it's generated correctly or not, and then you can add that code into your logic. So that's the stuff, that is what is there. Like there are like different models you have to check. First of all, you have to see what is your use case. uh, for example, if your use case is just a simple chatbot, like you have 100 pages document, and then you want to give it to an application, and you have to just ask like maybe for example some laws, okay, some section something is there, and then you just want to see that whether if I do something kind of if something happens to me in this aspect, under which section it comes in that law. So you can write programs for these type of stuff. This is one of the use case. For all these things, like if you want to you know get results based on only some of the facts. Like that facts also you will provide in the form of PDF or something like that. There is a concept called RAG. So in RAG, sorry. So in RAG, what will happen? Like it will read the entire the PDF document which you give, and then it will convert into vectors, and it will storage in some vector DB, and it will query on top of that vector DB, and it will give you the output. So it is something like chart. It's something based on charts. Sorry, I just a quick call. Sorry, I had some difficulties. And what are the other stuff? Where I'm there. Okay. So tell me more application areas using Gen AI. I have covered some of the use cases, something like going through the document and then clearing doubts in that document, helping with document, and any Python code can you write. So that is also one of the use case. And I don't have the things handy, but we do have like some of the models where that model completely works on the coding background. How this is all are possible is like generative AI requires like a lot of information to train on. So the companies, big companies like Google, Stack Overflow, all these people will have like lots of content based on their particular use case. For example, Python code, you're saying, Stack Overflow will have like lots of problems and the solutions for the particular languages. So they have the huge database. So they will be training some of the models. So like that it will be available. Just a second.
Participants request you to fill the feedback form and the attendance. The feedback and attendance form are the same.
Any other queries are there? Hello, I'm not able to see the chat for some reason. Any other queries are there?
There is a question how to use Gen AI for creating multiple images.
uh, yes. I have already mentioned to create some image or to generate some kind of image. There is something called model garden. My screen is visible.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you able to see my this one? Okay.
It's visible.
Yeah. So if you go and see some model garden in GCP, model garden on Vertex AI, there you will be able to see different foundation models. There are here, for example, 160 plus foundation models are there. So you can choose like what model works best for you, what gives you generate the image, and so based on that you can do. But as far as I know, there is no a free model which is available for you to generate any image. That is one thing. Any other question? I need some help to read the comments.
How to annotate or label images and crop to size using tool. There is one more
How
question.
to? How to?
Annotate or label
Okay.
images and crop to size using tool.
Okay. So what you can do is, for example, here also we are just uploading an image and it is able to detect what it is there. So like that, you can just write a small program where where you upload the images in some loop, and then the model will predict what it is in that image. So that's how you'll be able to get it, annotate and all. That is very easy. It can read your image and it can tell what is there in the content, image content. So that's possible. Anything else?
Any questions?
One of the very trending industry is now in the prompt engineering. There is a specific job position also for the prompt engineers who can write efficient prompts so that the cost which incur will be less. So that is also one of the area where we can suggest students to go through. One is prompt engineering and the other is responsible AI. These two things are like now very much trending in the software industry. And if you want to try whatever you are saying, like generating images, so there is something Google Cloud subscription, like you will get like $300 for free. So you can use those $300, and then you can use those model garden and then get your stuff done. That's also one of the way. Here also, if you can see, you can just go through this Google AI Studio also, or like you can try any prompt and you can just play with this grounding, function calling, code exhaustion, and all. And if you don't want to write your own Python code, you can just go to this Get Code, and it will already give you everything over here, and you can just copy paste your collab, or you can just open in your collab, and then you can add other stuff as well. You no need to write any Python code also. And if you don't want to Python code, you want to write it in JavaScript, Go, or something like that, there are other languages also which supports over here. So for example, I'll just say something like uh, hmm, hmm, tell me what is there in the image which I upload. Something as simple as this one. It will give something like this, and then it is asking me to upload an image. But you can just write something like this, something like that, and this it will what I have typed also came here. Tell me what is there in the image which I upload. So you have to just write your prompt correctly, and it will generate the Python code also. You can directly open in Google Colab, and you can work on that. That's also a simple, easy way to work on this Gen AI code, to get into the Gen AI first of all. Any other questions? Hello?
Any questions, please? You can post it in the chat box. Any questions, please post it in the chat box.
This is one more platform where you can, try your stuff, like the one which I showed you, Google AI Studio. Google AI Studio is for Google's company, and then this is Microsoft Copilot. Here also you can play around over here. Like if you want to generate image, also this one will generate image actually. Copilot, Microsoft Copilot. The Google AI Studio, if I'm not wrong, it don't have that much of what to say, that much of capability to generate any images, but it can read the image and all. That is for the free version. But for the Microsoft Copilot, copilot.microsoft.com, where if you sign in, you will be able to generate images also. But what I observed is like whatever the images which got generated, uh, if you ask to generate a image of a person, it won't be able to generate the image of a person correctly with the complete fingers, hand fingers, or whatever be like fingers and all, because it's not able to it's not able to differentiate fingers and all. Like for a person also it will give three fingers, like of some animals and all. So there is a lot of scope of getting improved this generative AI. But for some of this stuff we can happily use generative AI. So yeah, I tried covering most of the stuff which I know in the generative AI. Any other doubts?
Any questions? I would like to take this opportunity and thank Ms.Mounika. We are truly grateful to you, ma'am, for sharing your experience and contributing significantly to this FDP through your valuable insights and engaging presentation. Thank you so much, ma'am.